So welcome to the National City Police Department. My name is Jose Tellez. I'm the Chief of Police here. Here to my left, I have Captain Alex Hernandez, Captain Chris Sullivan with me. Welcome to our police department. Today, before we start celebrating and talking about Steve Shepard, we're going to present, kind of go off script a little bit and have a short presentation for Lloyd Munzer. You'll figure out a little bit later while we're recognizing Lloyd here is that he and Steve Shepard have a very close working relationship. Lloyd has been an instrumental part. Lloyd, if you want to come up real quick. Instrumental part in helping the National City Police Department obtain a lot of equipment through ARGIS over the past years, and that's only been possible because of the friendship and working relationship that he has with Sergeant Steve Shepard. So Steve, if you want to come up. And I'll present it and then we'll do it. So on behalf of the National City Police Department, Lloyd, we'd like to present you this plaque for your dedication, for all the help you've provided us over the years. It's been a tremendous amount of help and effort that goes along with this. And we're very appreciative of everything you've done for us, and that we want to recognize you for that and really just show your appreciation for everything you've done. So on behalf of National City PD, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief.
Steve?
Good afternoon. So this was really important for me to do before I walk out. In fact, I threatened the Chief I wasn't leaving unless we did this. So. But the Chief mentioned a lot of the things. Lloyd is one of those people that over 2 decades that I've worked with has tirelessly committed and been dedicated to just law enforcement in general. And I know all the officers here standing in the back having their PDAs on them, the technology and investigations of going from one screen of ARGIS in a back room to every desktop having it. That was made possible by this man right here. I can call him at any time. He's answering the phone. He's helping us out. Whether he's on vacation, whether he's sick, he's there. So Lloyd, personally, I want to thank you. It's been a great friendship, and I really appreciate everything you've done for this agency.
Thank you.
And you're always going to be a friend to me, so thank you. God, I'm already starting. I'm not even on my phone. Thank you so much.
Let's all remember, today's about him. Thank you, Lloyd. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think they tell.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, back to the original program. So welcome again, everybody. Today is a bittersweet day as we say goodbye to our friend and colleague, Sergeant Steve Shepard. We're always happy when people are able to retire and are leaving the profession happy and healthy. More importantly, healthy, right? Because there's not too many of us that walk out of here without having some type of injury based on the work that we do. But we're really happy for Steve and his family who are here joining him today. I want to introduce his husband, King Mike. Yes. His mother, Ursula Serna, is here. His siblings, Tammy Taylor, Angela Thornton, and Anthony Shepard. There you go. I also want to, because this is always a special time, we have some dignitaries here that I want to present really quickly on behalf of the city. So I believe Ron Morrison, our mayor, might be here. If he's not, he's going to be here a little bit later. Our assistant city manager, Frank Parra. And we have also one of our elected officials here, Council Member Jose Rodriguez. Thank you, sir, for being here today. And several department directors that are here to celebrate and enjoy this day with Steve Shepard. So thank you, everybody, for coming. So now let's talk about Steve a little bit. So Steve has 22 years in law enforcement, only with the city of National City. He was hired as a police officer back in June 20th, 2000. He was promoted to senior officer, or the rank now that we refer to as corporal, in April 24th, 2007. And he became a sergeant in January 21 of 2014. Some of the assignments that Steve has undertook over the course of his 22 years include obviously patrol. He was part of the gang enforcement team, and I do want to make some note here of some special things he did in that unit. Steve helped to develop the programs that we currently use in the unit. So he was one of the early members of that unit, and some things that they put in place back then are still in place now and will be handed down to the next group of individuals. He was also part of the team that initiated and obtained the largest gang injunction in California. If you don't know what our city was like back in the early 90s, 95 for example, that injunction really helped us turn the tide in our city, and Steve was an instrumental part of that group of people that put all those cases together. Steve, as you heard with the presentation that we just did with Lloyd, was also our liaison to ARGIS. ARGIS is a county program by which we get all our law enforcement data. Steve was an integral part of that. He on his own proactively pursued and got help from Lloyd and others to really bring technology to the National City Police Department. We kind of consider ourselves a little bit of a guinea pigs, right, for ARGIS. As they rolled out new equipment, new software, we're the first ones to actually test it a long time ago. And that was based on the relationship that Steve and Lloyd had, and it was greatly appreciated because that brought a lot of technology at the time to National City PD. Steve was also part of our investigations unit where he worked, and we had the ability to work there together. He was an integral part of that. He was also the supervisor in the communications center, and he also worked as an acting lieutenant. So these are just assignments that he was basically given during his course, but really if you don't know National City, we wear multiple hats. Some of the collateral duties that he was in charge of was the mobile field force. Steve has done that for years. When there's a protest that takes place in this county and we have to send our composite platoon, Steve was always part of that. He was not only a member of that, he became a supervisor of that, he became a leader in that. And Steve and his team were deployed to many protests and fires and whatever critical incidents in the county over the course of his career. He was also a field training officer. He was a member of the crisis negotiations team. He's part of the working group for the county of use of force, so to develop policies and procedures. He worked and he was very good at this part, and I know he took a great pride in this, being an arrest and control instructor. So everything he learned, he brought back to our department and he taught it. And we did this on a yearly or every couple times a year, and he was an instrumental part in that. He was also an Explorer program advisor. Of course, during COVID, we had to take some new assignments and new responsibilities that we had to take on, and so he volunteered, as he always does, and became part of our designated infection control officer. Who would have thought, right, Steve, when you started, that we would have to have an infection control officer in the police department? But nevertheless, he was the guy. He was also part of the peer support program, and let me speak to this a little bit. Steve was not only a member of this, but he was also the supervisor in charge of this. This is a passion for Steve. If you don't know Steve, and you should know that peer support and why we have such a robust program in the National City Police Department, it's because of this man over here, of his dedication to this program year after year. He's always researches, finding different ways of how we as a police department can service our officers and their families better, to hopefully have them have a happy and healthy career while they're here. He was, again, very valuable in that program. He was an instructor at Southwestern Police Academy. He did that for 7 years. That has to be a passion. You get paid for that because that's not part of our assignment here in the police department. But you have to have a passion for that to teach others and teach new police recruits that are coming to the profession. And he did that for 7 years. So many of the people that he was able to train were hired and working with other, not only with the National City Police Department, but with other police departments across the county. Here's an important part too for Steve, because we've talked about it over the years. Steve is our representative to the LGBTQ plus county liaison or county program. Obviously, years ago, Steve made the courageous decision to come out, and at the time, that wasn't easy, something that was done in our law enforcement profession. But I am so proud of him and applaud him for that. And the fact that he became a leader, not only in this organization, but as in the county, and continued that work to the very last day. He's always, again, pushing to teach, instruct, inform not only our officers but the community, and move our profession to a different place in diversity as a county. So very proud of you, Steve, for that. So it's hard to actually put everything together of everything that Steve was able to accomplish in just 22 years. 22 years is a long time, and it's everything that it's hard to capture all that in a piece of paper or in looking at his resume. Steve is a valuable member of this organization. He's done a lot for this organization. I consider Steve a friend, and we're going to miss you. We sincerely are going to miss you, because there are individuals that come to work hard, keep a positive attitude, keep plugging away, keep working, trying to make things better, not only in the organization, but in the community. And that clearly is this man. And I wish you nothing but the best. I wish King and you nothing but the best, and your entire family as you move into retirement. So congratulations, and well deserved, Steve. I'd like to, at this time, ask Captain Alex Hernandez to come to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. Steve, I'm glad you decided on today with the decent weather opposed to tomorrow when we're going to get a monsoon, according to the reports. So good afternoon, King, Steve's family. Thank you so much for being here. It's truly an honor. I want to begin by congratulating Steve. Steve's had a long and very successful career at this organization, both as a police officer and as a sergeant. Every officer here takes a great deal of pride identifying themselves as a National City Police officer. Steve is no exception. Steve did the right thing at the right time, and he had a long and successful career. His career took him through a lot of assignments. The chief just talked about some of them. Patrol, the GET team, core investigations, a patrol sergeant, a communications sergeant, and an acting lieutenant. In addition to that, Steve was also the recipient of the Centurion Award, a Commanding Citation Award, and countless department commendations that go back to 2001. Your file is huge, Steve. It's this big, I'm not lying. I had to review it. In reviewing the previous evaluations that Steve had, one thing I noticed over and over, his ratings were either above standard or outstanding every single time. In one of his evaluations, Steve was asked to provide a self-assessment feedback on his performance. This is what Steve wrote. I consider myself a teaching sergeant because I love to teach the new officers, and the old ones for that matter, things I have learned. One of my officers' wives wrote a very endearing card that read, quote, "I want to personally thank you for your support of John and our family this past year. John is not the best communicator when it comes to his feelings, but I can speak on his behalf when I say that you have given him so much guidance, advice, and support. He has talked to me about what an amazing leader you are and how knowledgeable you are, and how you care about your squad's mental and physical health." I think that best summarizes Steve as a supervisor and the legacy that he's going to leave in this organization. Steve's going to be joining a lot of other retired police officers that have come here today. There's a bunch of them. This is like every time we meet like this, it's a reunion. All the officers come back. I'm almost closing, but Fred Rogers once said that often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else. So in closing, Steve, I'm going to miss our talks, your love for the German soccer team, and our lighthearted exchanges that we have. I appreciate your professionalism, how you brought to our organization during the good times, and more importantly, the bad ones. Again, congratulations on a great career, and I wish you only the very best moving forward in the next chapter of your life. Thank you.
I saw our mayor, Ron Morrison, is here. Sir, would you like to come up and say a few words? One of the things you should know, and it's always important to invite our elected officials, because obviously we only do this job and we're only successful at this department if our elected officials support us, and gratefully in this city they do. And it's always, we're so small that we know each other. You know, he's known Steve for a long time, and vice versa. So it's always important to give them a platform and to allow them to at least express their gratitude for the work that not only Steve has done, the family and their sacrifice, but everything and the partnership that we have here in the city with the police department and our elected officials. So, sure.
All right, thank you, Chief. And indeed, I mean, we are very much like a family, and here in National City, and we do all get to know each other, whether that's for better or for worse. But we do get to know each other so very well, and behave like friends, like family, and that's one of the great things. And with Steve, you know, the kind of service that we have here, the longevity of service that we have here within our police department is awesome. The relationship with the community, you know, is something that's quite unique in a time when we have so much, you know, discontent and everything else throughout our nation, and a lot of times with law enforcement. We have overcome so much of that here in National City, and it's been because of the dedication of our officers, and of course Sergeant Shepard has been a large part of that. So we celebrate each other, and I know we have other council members. I see Council Member Rodriguez back there, Council Member Yamani, and together as a team, our city pulls together and makes good things happen and continues to make good things happen. And we always hate to lose good people, both men and women that go on either retirement or go on into a lot of times Department of Justice, and also the District Attorney's Office. They're always moving upward, and that's a huge credit to this department. And so once again, on behalf of a very grateful community, we say thank you.
I felt to recognize our new council member, Titas Yamani. Thank you. I see you now. Sorry, you're back there. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Now I'd like to invite Steve up to the front. We traditionally always give the retirees a flag that flew over the police department on the day of their choosing. So today I want to present Steve with his flag in a commemorative box that recognizes his commitment and dedication to the police department, and engraved on the bottom has his dates of service. So we can do that. Obviously the wind is playing some havoc back here, but we'll get it right. So Steve, on behalf of the police department, I'd like to present you with this flag that commemorates your time here with us. We will greatly miss you, but we are also excited for your next chapter in your life and wish you the very best of luck. So congratulations. Let's move over here so we can get out of the podium out of the way. Can we get some more pictures?
Oh, that camera's much bigger.
Microphone is yours.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Captains. I appreciate everything that you've said. Wow. Seeing all of you here today from the past, the present officers, and the future department that I'll be going to, I can say what a lucky man I am. I am so honored and so proud that you have all taken the time out of your busy days to support me as I close this chapter in my life. A special thank you to all of you who helped put this together today for me and my family. Your efforts are very appreciated. 22 years ago, I walked through the doors of this police department, eager to be a police officer. It had been a childhood dream of mine, and it finally had come true. I knew nothing of this community called National City. I was born and pretty much raised in Germany, and then ended up in East County here in San Diego County. I had never stepped foot in National City. As I was going through the Southwestern Basic Police Academy, Class 30, when I started to hear about the National City Police Department and what a tough neighborhood it was. And also, if you wanted to be a real cop, that was where you went to work. At that time, police officer jobs were hard to get because there were so many applicants and so few positions. So the idea at the time was take any job you get, the first job offer. I was very fortunate because I had a National City police officer as my training officer at the academy named Officer Michael Steinman. Our entire academy class had a lot of respect for Steinman, and we knew he was from National City. The reason I was fortunate is because Steinman went to bat for me and put my name in at National City. He saw something in me. He saw something in me and thought that I'd be a good fit for National City, and the rest is history. The reason I share with you how I came to be a National City police officer because it takes people like Steinman to change the course of your life. I'm sure I would have been hired by any number of agencies, but because of Steinman, I ended up here in National City. Along my journey, there have been many people who have helped, supported, and mentored me along the way. I've made many friends that will last a lifetime. Here I am, standing before you, about to walk out and retire. The one thing a lot of old timers used to tell me was enjoy it because the time is going to go by fast. I can tell you that is so true. I walk away feeling a sense of pride of what I accomplished and more proud of what we accomplished. This profession was everything I dreamed it would be and more. I've learned a lot along the way, and if you will allow me, I would like to share just a little what I've learned. Pretty much anything I could say has been said better by much more intelligent people than I. And those of you that have ever received an evaluation or a card from me know I love to quote the greats. To start, I'd like to quote retired General Norman Schwarzkopf of the U.S. Army, who once said, "Always try to do your very best, but recognize that success is not what you gain for yourself, but what you do for others. Character is far more important than competence. Therefore, one must always pick the competent, always must pick the harder right over the easier wrong. When the tough decision must be made, do what's right. It won't always be popular, but if you live your life with absolute integrity, you will learn that rewards of moral character come from character itself. Do what's right, and remember, you can't help someone up a hill without getting closer to the top yourself. Over my career, I've always stayed true to myself and what I believed was the right thing to do despite other people's agendas or opinions. I quickly learned that in this profession, you have people from many different walks of life with many different experiences and perspectives. Some of those people are there to support you, and some of those people are determined to stand in your way. In the book, Dare to Lead by Brené Brown, she writes, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly." I know that I have always dared greatly. My advice? Dare greatly. I recently heard that someone of rank told another lesser ranked person that nothing about them is special. I reject that opinion wholeheartedly. Everything about each of you is special. That's what makes this place special. So again, always be true to yourself and dare greatly. The last thing, the biggest thing, is to take care of yourself in all ways. You cannot be a good cop if you're broken. You cannot be a good father, mother, son, daughter, sister, brother, or friend if you do not take care of yourself. Make sure the job does not consume your life and happiness. Stay mentally and physically fit. Get help when things are breaking down, and get help earlier than later. So there you have it. That's all my simple wisdom in a short few minutes. But I do want to give special recognition to many of you that I've worked with over the years. Thank you for being the best professionals I have ever had the privilege of working with. No one outside of this police department will know the countless battles we have fought and won, the tears we have shed, and the infinite amount of joy and friendship we have shared together. You will have a place in the core of my life until I no longer walk on this earth. To many of the old-timers I see here today, I miss you greatly. We miss you greatly. I forever will owe you all a debt of gratitude, because I know I would not get to stand here and retire had it not been for you all having my back and making sure I return home each night safe. My family and friends, thank you as well. To my field training officers, Matt Remmers, Ernie Anderson, Dave Grande, and Julian Villagomez. It is your fault for me being a spaz. I'm just kidding, but seriously, you guys taught me to be a real cop. And despite some opinions, I think I turned out okay. To those that I had the privilege to train and lead, thank you for allowing me to serve as your leader at some point in your career. But far more importantly, thank you for allowing me to be your friend and your biggest fan. Seeing many of you rise up the ranks and accomplish your career goals is the best legacy I could have hoped for. I lost many nights of sleep thinking, did I do the right thing while in a leadership position? I always tried to be as true as I could be,
and lead the best I could with heart and passion for people. My number one goal each shift was getting all of you home safe to your families. To all the relationship with those of you I've built outside this organization, what amazing people you are. Just looking out into this crowd and seeing deputy district attorneys, probation and parole officers, judges, friends from other agencies, and the community members, it reminds me of how important the work we have done was and continues to be. And I truly applaud all of you for that. Dedication and commitment to law enforcement. It is evident, and I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you. We accomplished some pretty cool things over the years, and we have a lot of stories to tell. I see some people from the UCSD Police Department. I just want to say I look forward to working with all of you and starting another chapter. It is comforting to already recognize so many faces from my time in law enforcement within the department. I'm so excited to learn and be a part of your team. Finally, to my family and friends, you will never know how much your continued love and support for me and my profession meant to me. I have always cherished a life-work balance. Escaping work life and being able to be with people outside of law enforcement truly allowed me to stay sane and healthy for these 22 years. To my mother, you're the strongest woman I know. You raised me with high moral character, self-discipline, and most importantly, self-worth. Thank you for always supporting my dream and for loving me unconditionally. And my brothers and sisters, you have always been there for me and helped me stay grounded. And I love you for that. My husband, King, you've been with me for 15 of these 22 years. You've seen me come home after my worst days and celebrate my best days. Many of us in law enforcement know how difficult a life it is to subject a spouse and family to. And you took it in stride and loved me time and time again regardless. Your support of law enforcement at contentious times meant everything to me. However, you never let me lose sight of the struggles of people opposed to the tactics and policy of law enforcement. You gave me much needed perspective at times. Thank you for always loving me and sharing this journey. I love you. I would like to end with one last reading from an old book back in 1930 titled Something for Everyone. Now, just keep in mind, it was written in 1930, but the message really sums up my career here at National City. And it goes, after the battle is over and cooled is the heat of the fray, after the losing or winning, we come to the close of the day. Winning or losing is nothing compared to the way that we fought, for victory counts but little compared to the way we wrought. 'Tis striving, not winning, that measures the real honest worth of a man, and joy is the honest won laurel for doing the best that you can. The shouts of the victors obscure the causes that led to the fight, but sooner or later comes glory to those who went down for the right. After the battle is over and continue the gain of cost, the loser is often the victor the one who lost. For error might triumph a season and rule for a time by its might, but truth never dies, and in good time there cometh the triumph of right. Your manhood is measured by striving, not merely by winning the fray. It isn't the fact you are the winner, it's how you have fought through the day. The battle, though lost, may be only the part of an infinite plan to learn if you really measure full up to the size of a man. Thank you. Please stay safe, take care of each other, and most importantly, take care of yourself. And for those of you that can, please join me at Cafe La Maze afterwards for a late lunch and early dinner. And again, thank you so much. I'm very honored to have been able to work with all of you. Thank you.
Probably the best, please have a quick seat. Probably the best retirement speech I've heard in a long time. Obviously a lot of thought and heart put into that. Thank you, Steve. Again, we're gonna miss you. We do want to say something to the family because again, 22 years as a family member supporting your family member who's an officer is not easy. We want to acknowledge you. We're grateful of everything you did for Steve while he was here, everything that you did for this organization. And we want to thank you and acknowledge all of you. So, thank you. I presented King with a card we all signed, and again, thank you for everything. So our tradition here is that we do a walkout. So this will conclude this part of the ceremony. We still have refreshments here, so they'll be here after the walkout piece actually occurs in front of the police station. But our officers will direct you to the front. There's a place for the family to stand. Our officers and our employees also know where to stand. And we'll have a walkout with Steve. We'll present him a flag and really send him out in the tradition that he deserves here at the National City Police Department. So if everybody can start moving towards the front, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey Steve, I just want to let you know I'm so proud of you, what you accomplished, and I love you very much. And you know, we talk every day or every week, and I know most about your life and what you're doing. But just to say, I'm so proud of you, and I love you very much.
Hi Steve, it's Angela. Very proud of your 22 years of service. I was there when you graduated the academy. I'm here now today as I watch you retire. Just want to say we love you. Very proud of you. Glad that, you know, I can call you my brother.
Hi Steve, it's Tammy. I just want to say congratulations. I wasn't able to make it to your graduation for the Academy or any of your other events, but I am here today. I am very proud of your 22 years of service, and I love you.
Hey Steve, very proud of you. What an exciting day to be standing out here and celebrating your retirement of 20 some odd years. I'm very, very envious. Really looked up to you for a long, long time. You know, you're finishing off a career that I wish I had started 20 some odd years ago. But I love you very much. I'm very, very proud of you. And
Steve, great job. Well done. I'm very proud of you, just finishing it well.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve.